Review the Jack White album Entering Heaven Alive. It was released in 2022 and produced by Jack White. So I got this at the same time that I got Fear of the Dawn, and I actually listened to this one first. I kind of looked at the covers and thought I'd like Fear of the Dawn more, so I put this one in first to save that one for later. I ended up liking this one a lot more. I would actually say, though, I've listened to Fear of the Dawn probably more recently because I'm still trying to figure out that album, so I put it on more often. This album, I made up my mind about pretty fast. I guess you could say that this is kind of Jack White's like folk rock album. I feel like it's kind of a spiritual successor in some ways to Lazaretto. Like I could see an alternate timeline where this is the follow-up to that instead of Boarding House Reach. That said, there are some kind of different like weirder moments on here that kind of change things up. The album opens with A Tip From Me to You. I think it's a strong opening track. It's kind of an acoustic, like, piano-driven song. I like the piano a lot. Pretty catchy, so a good way to start the album. Next is All Along the Way. This one has a really cool like acoustic guitar thing going on in it. It's catchy. I like Jack's vocal a lot. The third track, Help Me Along. This one has this kind of weird intro that I like, but it sounds like orchestration or something. It's pretty prominent in the song and in that intro. It's got another pretty catchy vocal melody on it, so this is another one I like a lot. The fourth track, Love Is Selfish. Short acoustic song, but it's got really like memorable lyrics to me for some reason, and I think it's pretty catchy, so it's another one I like. The fifth track, I've Got You Surrounded With My Love. This one is kind of where he goes in a weird direction on this album. It definitely, like, this song stands out quite a bit, but I like it a lot. Almost sounds like it could have been something on Fear of the Dawn, except for, like, I think it's catchier than a lot of the stuff on there. It's got some cool, like, jazzy sounding piano, some really cool guitar. So that's kind of like a minor highlight for me. Next track, Queen of the Bees. This one's kind of weird, but I think it's probably my favorite song on here. Just got kind of weird, amusing lyrics. It's kind of like old-timey sounding almost. Really catchy. I don't know, just stands out a lot to me because of the lyrics. Seventh track, A Tree on Fire, From Within. Another highlight for me. It's got this really cool bass, at least I think it's bass, and it's got another like really cool piano part, and they sort of like interact with each other, which is pretty cool. I like the lyrics a lot. I like Jack's vocal melody a lot. It's a really cool track. The eighth song, If I Die Tomorrow. Short, catchy song. It's sort of like subdued, but it's got this really cool, I don't know, really weird sounding guitar solo in it. I'm not sure what gets that sound, but it's awesome. So that's another highlight for me. The ninth track, Please God Don't Tell Anyone. It's catchy, not my favorite song on here. Got some cool piano. I actually think Jack gives a really good vocal on it. I don't know, it's just it's longer than some of the other songs on here. These last three tracks are all kind of longer than most of the ones on here at like 4 minutes. There's a lot of like short 2-minute songs on here, which I like. But yeah, Please God Don't Tell Anyone. Not bad, but not one of my favorites. Then the 10th track, A Madman from Manhattan. This is pretty easily my least favorite track on here. Not that I think it's bad or anything, it's kind of long. I think the instrumental parts are interesting and I enjoy that. Not really crazy about like the vocal part or the vocal melody. I don't know, it's kind of this weird like almost jazzy song. I don't know, it's not bad, but just not my favorite. I just don't find it that memorable compared to the rest of the stuff on here. And then the 11th and final track is Taking Me Back Gently, which is just like an acoustic version of Taking Me Back off Fear of the Dawn, but I don't know, it's kind of like old-timey sounding. I really like this one. I think I probably like it a little bit better than the other version. But it's a great way to end the album. I think it's really cool how he like started one album with it and then ended another album with a different version. So that's another highlight for me. So Entering Heaven Alive, I like a lot. I don't know if it's my favorite Jack White album, but I think it's up there. I don't know if I would start here because I don't think it's very representative of like his whole sound overall. It's a lot more like acoustic and mellow than he typically is. But I think overall it's just a really good collection of catchy songs. and I don't know. I think it's cool that he did something kind of in this direction that's a little bit different, and I think it's cool that he released it with another album that's like completely the opposite at the same time. So, yeah, I definitely recommend this one.